Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle Carter, the Aram Public Library Director, and we have a special guest with us today. Brian from Project Recovery, a free Wisconsin service, is here to tell us how his service and his department can help our family, our friends, or even ourselves. Welcome, Brian.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Michelle.
Sure. I came across Brian through some email communication from Project Recovery. And for myself, it was of interest because during the quarantine, we had people who were very lonely. They didn't have anybody to talk to, or they were feeling anxious. And Brian and his team are there to help. And so I'll let Brian tell a little bit more about how his area helps people who need somebody to talk to or just kind of unload, I guess.
Yeah, no, well said. Right, I'm from Project Recovery, and we're funded by FEMA when there's a disaster. So imagine like a hurricane, tornado, flood, that sort of thing. Well, COVID is officially declared as a disaster. And so the major brunt of our program, with COVID being what it is and observing social isolation, we do a lot of telephone counseling. So it's a free, anonymous telephone counseling line. Dialing 211 gets you to a counselor. And we're here, they call us crisis counselors, but really it's much, much, much more than that. So I try to really debunk and emphasize that of course we're here to help with crises, but logistical challenges. Walgreens is closed and I need my prescription. Those sorts of things. Where's the nearest testing center? Also, just social support. At the end of the day, we're just people who want to reach out and support the community. So for some folks, even before COVID, social isolation was an issue. Of course, COVID's exacerbated that. And now with the coming winter months, you can predict this is going to be a pressing issue. We need to connect with each other. And so we're here for that.
I know Brian and I have had a few conversations about that. If you or anyone in our audience today has a parent or knows someone who's living alone and just needs maybe a check-in, to talk to somebody,
Right.
I think that's something that comes to mind. I know I have aging relatives, and I think a service like this could be extremely helpful just for them to reach out and talk to. Not necessarily that they are feeling anxious, but that they're lonely. So do you have a favorite story that you can share with us, Brian, without, giving away too many details?
Sure. Recently there was an individual who they're new to the States, so just not a lot of social support yet, and experiencing symptoms. And there was this 2 to 4 day waiting period where they're tested and they're waiting on the results. And so, a lot of uncertainty, which can take an emotional toll.
Mhm.
You know, if it's just a cold or what have you, good. But if it's not, okay, well, what then?
Mhm.
So, we kept in contact for those several days and just sort of processed that uncertainty. Made it a point, of course, to call back after the results came in, and they came back negative. So that's great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I had somebody to talk to and share that anxiety with,
Oh, sure.
particularly when you're new to an area or I know a lot of the gathering places where we would normally hang out or find some solace. Um, people need some help there. So Brian and I are happy to share this information with our audience today. We will have information in the library and be sharing it periodically through the holidays, but especially this winter when people are in their homes a little bit more with the weather being what it is in Wisconsin. So thank you very much for joining us today, Brian, and take care. And thank you so much for offering the service to us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Mhm.